Hello, everyone. Welcome. You have reached episode 9 of the Ranting Weight Watcher. I'm so glad to have you with me. If you enjoy the show, please like, share, comment, subscribe. Tell your friends about me. If the podcast app you're listening to me on allows you to rate the show, please leave a 4-star, 5-star rating, whatever's in your heart to leave. I appreciate any rating, even if it's a bad one. So, are you guys ready for the weekend? I know I am. So I just want to give you a little updates. Some updates on my current situation here. So on my last weigh-in, it was a good one. 1.4 loss for the week, and a total now at 105.8 pounds total since January 2019. I'm feeling really good about that. We'll see. You know, we just got to keep the ball rolling. You know, we can't get a little relaxed now because, you know, 2 or 3 weeks in a row of success, the body tends to come, or the mind tends to become relaxed. You know, I got this, I can do this, you know, and you become laxed. And that's what I'm trying to prevent at all costs. Well, I haven't really dealt with anything food-wise that's been a problem. I had a few issues in the past week or so, week and a half maybe, in their body related, right? So I have arthritis in my knee. So, I mean, that's always there, right? That's always a constant bothering, aching, whatever it is. On certain days, even the weather will make it worse, you know, like on a rainy day, it'll feel painful on a rainy day. So it's not that it's been extra painful, it's just there, a little more noticeable than normal. And I've been dealing with a lot of hip pain on my right hip. So I did a couple of, you know, like I looked at a YouTube video for stretches and stuff like that. I'm not even sure how I did it, to be honest with you. I woke up, what was it, Tuesday morning? Yeah, Tuesday morning. I woke up out of bed and my right hip was hurting. It's like to get out of bed was an extra job on Tuesday morning. As the week progressed, you know, so I decided to take a rest day from walking on that day, right? And after the rest day, I woke up the next day, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to feel better, but I felt worse. So now, not only did my right hip still hurt just as much, if not a little more, now my back on the lower right side was also hurting. And I just can't, I don't understand what could have caused this, but I've been taking Tylenol, stuff like that, trying to manage. I don't like to take anti-inflammatory because, you know, anybody who's had the gastric bypass, it is something we can't do because the way they change the body, because anti-inflammatory medication like ibuprofen, anything like that, does bad things to your stomach. So when you change the size of your stomach, you know, through gastric bypass, you have to avoid these things because you could damage it even worse than someone else who has a normal stomach, right? And then on top of that, anti-inflammatories cause weight gain, or they can cause weight gain, whatever it's water gain, whatever it is. But still, It's just something extra to deal with. So I woke up on that day with the back pain. I'm going, what the heck is going on here? So I looked up did some stretching exercises, did all that stuff, but I wasn't gonna rest again. That's for sure. One day of rest, fine, because I rest every Friday anyway, right? So adding one extra day, I was willing to do, but not two. I wasn't going to sit there and rest 3 days. So I went out for a walk, and every day for the rest of the week, basically, except for Friday. Went out for a walk, and eventually the back pain went away. Now it's almost completely gone. Before yesterday, I was dealing with the pain only when I did like a twist to the left or to the right or whatever. There would be like a little bit of a twinge when I twisted. So now today, as I sit here in my chair and I twist, I don't really feel anything in the backside. But the hip, still, when I step down, when I put weight on it, if I'm not putting any weight on it, I don't feel anything. But when I go to put weight on it, I definitely feel it. And it's not as bad as it was when I started, so it is improving, but it's what I'm dealing with. I'll keep trying to do the stretches I saw in the YouTube video, and maybe I'll look up some other ones, see if maybe I change it up. Will it help me out? And I'll keep doing that. As for food, I don't really have any changes coming up for food. As I went over in my last video, I like to stay the same food-wise. So as long as the scale's going in the right direction, I don't really change anything. Sometimes I change amounts of stuff just because I'm not feeling it that day or whatever. And sometimes I become sick of a food item and I change it up that way when I become sick of it. But I never, if the scale's going, if everything's going right, I don't make changes food-wise. That's just the way I do it. And even so, even when things go wrong, I tend to look at what else I could be doing exercise-wise. I don't tend to look, unless I know that I, took in a couple extra calories where I shouldn't have, kind of a deal. Or I ate some extra salt, because sometimes I get a salt craving. I don't know about you. Like every once in a while, I get like a craving for dill pickles, right? And I want dill pickles with everything. It's always to my detriment. I mean, I get the craving in, and there's very little calories when you're dealing with dill pickles, but there's a lot of sodium, okay? And my body's sensitive to salt, and so I try to do this very rarely, but when I do, I have pushed it to the point where I've waited probably too long, and then I'm craving it so much that I go crazy for dill pickles. And so I have them, and then I have them every day with lunch, and it becomes like this salty, sour snack that I love. When I have had enough is always when the scale starts going in the wrong direction, because I'm taking in the extra salt. I'm not compensating with the amount of water I need to be taking in, and so it all translates on the scale eventually. Whether it's a week or 2 weeks later, that you start seeing the scale go in the wrong direction because you're taking in a bunch of salt. It happens. And I have done it numerous times. I get the craving for the salty, sourness of a dill pickle. Even sometimes I get the craving for sauerkraut, like you would put on a hot dog. I haven't had a sauerkraut on a hot dog in a very long time. And I'm talking about it because I've been craving it. But, I am definitely craving that. The dill pickle craving was around for a couple weeks back, and I decided, you know what? Okay, this has to be done. Scale's going in the wrong direction, so we got to make a correction, kind of a deal. But I adopt it every once in a while. So what do you guys do when things in life don't go your way? Forget about this weight loss journey. Right? When things you plan to do don't go your way. It could be as simple as you planned to do laundry, you go downstairs with the dirty clothes and you're throwing everything in, you throw the soap in, and machine won't turn on, right? And so now a bunch of money, you start, dollar signs start flipping in your head. What's wrong with this thing? What am I going to do? Do I need to buy a new one? Can a guy repair this? There's all kinds of emotions that go on. What do you guys do when you have circumstance and it's not weight related? When a circumstance at work happens and it's a high stress environment at work, maybe it's month end, maybe the big boss of the corporation is like, why aren't we receiving any money? And he's cracking the whip on all the employees, What do you guys do? That's what I want to talk about today. What do we do when things that aren't weight related aren't going our way? How do we handle that? And we'll talk more about that after the break. All right, so we're going to take a break right now. Stick with me. Hi, everyone. I'm Donato Russo, and I am the Ranting Weight Watcher. I would love it if we can connect on social media. If you're on Facebook and Instagram, look me up at the Ranting Weight Watcher. If you're on Twitter, at the Ranting WW. If you're already on Weight Watchers and you want to connect in the Connect app, search for at Ranting Weight Watcher. If you'd like to email the show, share your successes, share your failures, share your story in general, send me an email at therantingweightwatcher@gmail.com. Most of all, if you're enjoying the show, please like it, share it, comment, and subscribe. Now, back to the show. And we are back. Welcome back to the show. So, why am I making a show about how we handle life when things don't go as we plan? Why am I making this show? I'm gonna be blatantly honest with you. This wasn't the original plan for episode 9. I have been fighting for hours and hours trying to record what I had originally planned for episode 9. I had the idea that I wanted to go, continue off of last week and make you an episode to try and help everyone understand, break open the topic of the metabolism and how the metabolism works in our bodies, and how if we can just learn how to manipulate it, we might find success or extra success in our journeys. And I had an article and then tried to record myself reading the article, and I was stuttering. It was insane. I'm reading words that aren't on the screen. It's just, I was going out of my mind. And then I finally got the first one recorded, and I thought, after listening to the whole article, I said, this article's not good enough. So then I went to look for another article, and then the same thing happened all over again. Trying to record the new one, stuttering, reading words that aren't there, losing my place in the article, all kinds of stuff. And I was cursing left and right in this room, yelling and screaming. Oh, man. It was just absolutely insane. So how can we deal when stuff like this happens? How can we deal with it? Well, what is it we shouldn't do, right? Everybody knows what do we do and what we shouldn't do, kind of a thing, what happens. Typically people go to what gives them comfort, right? What gives you comfort? When you have times like this and you're just feeling all kinds of aggravation, obviously stress and aggravation is being uncomfortable. So you want to go to the one thing or two things or whatever it may be that make you comfortable again as quickly as possible. And for a lot of us, it's food. For a lot of us, it's food. And it's the worst thing we can do, considering we're on a weight loss journey, right? And there are plenty of us that will think, I have gone through all the rationale. I have been on every spectrum of this thinking, where you think you deserve the comfort because of what you went through. You think you deserve whatever it is that you're about to eat just because of the day you're having. And then there's other people that they claim they lose control and they just eat whatever the hell they want. But if they really analyze themselves, they probably have a lot more control than they think they have. They just don't want the control. Because they're looking for what I call the excuse to fall off the wagon. This makes sound crazy to you, but this is all of the things I went through. First, you go through this "I deserve it" thing. Then you go through looking for an excuse to do it, right? So when you are past the whole idea of deserving to eat your feelings, then you become the person that looks for the nearest excuse to eat your feelings. Oh, you don't understand what's going on. It's not, no one understands what I'm going through. Everybody's going through something. Food has never taken away a problem, except for starvation. So if you're not starving, there's not any other problem food can fix. And I doubt we can say that you're starving, because you wouldn't be on a weight loss journey if you were starving. So after going through feeling like you deserve it, and after going through looking for the excuse, I at least came to the point of, what am I doing? What am I doing? Why do I feel that having this thing will make my problem go away? In reality, will it go away? No, it won't go away. So what do I really need to do here? I need to manage my emotions. And that's what trying to record what I planned for episode 9 brought me to. So I got up from this desk. I went downstairs. I had some lunch. And came back here, and I actually started to look for another article on the metabolism. Because while I was eating lunch, I decided that the third or fourth article I had come across, that also wasn't good enough. I decided after I got up here, and I wasted more time looking for another article, I said, I just don't have it today. Just don't have it. Sometimes, like an athlete, there weren't many of them. One of my favorite athletes is Michael Jordan. There weren't many days, but I'm sure in his career, in his extensive career, there were days where he just didn't have it. Now we all remember the day that he had 104 fever and he still played anyway, and he had like an amazing game. I remember watching that game on TV. But like I said, there weren't many days where Michael Jordan didn't have it. But there were. He wasn't perfect. And so when we have these days where we just don't have it, sometimes we just need to change something up, do something else. So that's what I'm here. I'm talking about managing your emotions because I'm in the process of managing my own emotions, right? So now I'm at the point where I've accepted my emotions and now I'm laughing at them. So I did this all without binge eating. I went downstairs and I had lunch because it was time to eat lunch, right? But I ate what I had planned to eat for lunch. Because if you listen to me long enough, you know that everything in my tracker is tracked on Sundays for the entire week. And then it's just about execution. Because I eat the same breakfast 7 days a week, the same lunch 7 days a week. Dinner, The same every Monday, the same every Tuesday, the same every Wednesday, so on. Now, there's a bunch of people that would laugh and call that a very boring life, but it works. It works. I track the whole week on Sunday, and then it's just about do it, right? When the football players go on the practice field, they're practicing in preparation for whoever that team is they face that week. Oh, we know we're playing the Rams. I'm talking about the 49ers here. The 49ers got the Rams today, being Sunday that I'm recording this. And so they practiced all week long in preparation for a game plan put together by the coach to defeat the Rams, right? And that's what we do here. We put together a plan to defeat our old self, right? The old version of ourselves that we don't want to go back to. We're trying to defeat that one. We're trying to make it so we never become that person again, and we can live a healthier lifestyle, both or mentally, physically, and spiritually. All three of them have to come together in order for you to be successful at this. And so, in the past, I went to the food just like anybody else. In the past, I started to realize, okay, the food's not helping. The food just makes the next way in worse, right? Because whenever I would give in to my emotions and eat my emotions, that next week, if it was a bad week, even if it was only a couple of ounces that went up, if the number went up, or if the number stayed the same, I used to have these thoughts. Well, you know what? If I would have just stopped acting like a fool on this day and not eating my emotions, then I wouldn't be in this position right now, even though the number only went up a couple of ounces. And that's what, anybody would think this way. Anybody would think, oh, it was that one day, that one meal, that one time, this whole week was ruined because of that. And that's not the case. It really isn't. Unless that one day was the day before weigh-in. I could see you making the argument with me that if you weigh in on Saturday and Saturday night you binge ate everything in sight, I could see you making that argument. But if you're doing it and it's days and days in advance, it's just what we're talking about, one day, right? And there's exceptions to every rule. When I sit here and I'm craving salt and I overeat on salty things, my leg, because I have lymphedema, my leg swells up, and I could gain 6 to 10 pounds in my leg alone because I just decided to eat salt. So I try to do it minimally when I crave salt. I don't crave salt when I'm in my emotions. I crave anything, period. So anything in sight. When I go through these things, I try to take a step away from whatever it is I'm doing. I just don't have it right now. I'll come back to it, whatever it is, the situation. If I'm repairing a computer, if I'm recording a podcast, if I'm doing something in my car, whatever it is. If it's not working out, you just got to sometimes step away. Sometimes when life hands us these circumstances, it's not enough to do whatever you think you can do so that you don't eat your emotions, so you don't look for comfort through food. It's not enough. I've often said that this journey we're on It's like a battle with a 3-headed monster. The first head represents the mind. A lot of what we deal with is in the mind. We think we're hungry, but we're not. The second head is of the body. Maybe we're limited and we can't do some of the things we'd like to be able to do. And the third head is of the spirit. So when life is handing us these things, when I tell you sometimes it's not enough just not to eat your emotions, that's when the spirit comes into play. And you have to get in touch. Philippians chapter 4, verse 6 and 7 say, "Be careful for nothing, but in everything, by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. And the peace of God, which passeth all understanding, shall keep your hearts and your minds through Christ Jesus." So sometimes what we're dealing with is not necessarily for us to deal with. Sometimes it's just a test. Will you give it up? Will you give your burden to Jesus and let him take care of it for you? Because if we believe this verse for what it says, then all we have to do is let go. And in return for letting go of our problems, he gives us a peace that surpasses all understanding. So, it sounds like a no-brainer, right? Maybe you don't feel like, maybe you don't have a good prayer life, and maybe you don't feel like you're in the position to ask God for help when something like this happens. But it's not God who has separated himself from you. Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. It's you who has built walls around yourself to separate yourself from God. So just when you get to these moments, sometimes we just got to give it up and say, "This is for you. Jesus, take this from me. Take it from me right now. I cannot deal with this. I don't know what to do. I leave it in your hands. I'm not going to worry about this anymore. I know you have it handled. So I won't worry about this anymore. And I thank you with all my heart for handling it for me. In Jesus' name, amen." I love each and every one of you. God bless you all.